So you have Julius Malema, who's the founder of the Economic Freedom Fighters in Africa. This guy's seen as, they put him forward as far left. So when they talk about all this stuff about the far right, far left, blah blah, right? This is the far left. This is the establishment's interpretation of what the far left is representative of, right? Listen to the way this man speaks.
EFF exists in a country indoctrinated to believe that the contradictions between the African black majority and the white capitalist ruling class can be resolved peacefully, and that violence in any form must be avoided and condemned. This belief is simply untrue. We must explain this truth to our people. When the South African Human Rights Commission takes us to court for saying that ultimately our revolution will require us to kill, we must be prepared to contextualize what we mean. When the Human Rights Commission and the racist lobby group take us to court for declaring that we are in a war with white supremacy, we must be able to explain to our people what black consciousness is and why it cannot coexist with the idea that white people are inherently superior, and one of the two.
I find it a bit ironic as well, like the irony in the fact that he's explaining all this to his people in Africa while speaking English. The irony, huh?
Fanon is important here because he gives us the tools to explain to our people that the conditions within which they live are violent. It is violence to segregate African people into underdeveloped townships and villages without services. It is violence for...
Wow. So he's saying that it's violence to put a group of people into an area that doesn't have the facilities to manage said people. Jesus, that's very much like what they're doing to Ireland, isn't it? Pumping all these, like, putting 500 plus unvetted males into areas or towns that have a population of like 150 people. Huh? A bit weird.
For a white minority to have complete control over the means of production in Africa. It is violence that the majority of the land remains in the hands of a white minority. Colonialism is institutional and structural violence, and reversing it requires violence.
So there you have it. So his answer to what he believes is violence on his people is to answer that violence with more violence. You know? Thought they always said 2 wrongs don't make a right. Huh? Obviously not in Africa.